Hey guys, and welcome to another No Man's Sky video from your favorite pirate, Dread Captain James. This video is going to take a lot of things that we've covered in previous videos and combine them all to make one of the most complicated things in the game, stasis devices. And I'm going to show you how to farm them and make a ton of units. Let's go. So just to start, the base design I built here is pretty cool. I built on an EM hotspot to cover all of my power needs, which are pretty great for this farm, and I built an X or a cross design with 4 wings of biodomes. Now, these can be expanded out to whatever number you'd like, and that EM core can be extended as high as you like if you need more power. With this design, each wing has 4 biodomes and a large refiner, and there's a reason for this, so hang tight. One wing, however, has landing pads, just for anyone with a keen eye. You will also notice that that wing is currently empty, and that's on purpose. For the first harvest, I wanted to see what crop I need more of, so I left that whole wing empty to allow me to plant whatever I need to make. FAFO University is in full swing, and we like to science. In these biodomes, we have a lot of things planted: frost crystal, gamma root, gut root, selenium, cactus flesh, and star bulb. On the screen, I've shown the exact amount of everything necessary to make a single stasis device. If you want to make more, take all of these numbers and multiply them. With what we currently have planted, we can make 4 stasis devices. So this is a very small farm, but it works for the purposes of this video. Before we get to harvesting, we'll need to go shopping, aka visiting all of the mines that we've set up, so let's cover that too. If you've seen my other videos, which I'll have linked below, I'm using my latest mine design for each of these, and each one produces 8750 of whatever resource I'm mining. The first one, and this isn't on the list or recipe I just showed you, is oxygen. You're going to need a lot of it, so make sure you have a mine for that. Next is phosphorus. Grab a whole stack of that too. Sulfurine, radon, and nitrogen will all have to be mined as well. Paraffinium and dioxide too. Oh yeah, and cobalt, but we're gonna need to refine that one, which is where our base comes in. Okay, so once you've got all these essentials, it's time to head back to the base and set things up. One of the things you need to do immediately is turn your cobalt into ionized cobalt. Here's where the oxygen comes into play. In 2 of the 3 refiners here, I've split evenly the stack of cobalt and oxygen. If you do this, you'll end up with a net positive rather than a deficit on the amount you refine. Cobalt refined alone becomes ionized cobalt, but you'll only get half of the amount that you put in originally. If you add oxygen to it, the ratio is 2 to 5, so you make a ton more than you started with. Okay, while that's refining, move around the base and harvest everything. I like to stand at the center of the base and peek down each corridor to see when the refining is finished. It would also be a pretty good design to put all 3 refiners in this main room, but that would require glitch building, just as an FYI. The next thing we need to do is create some condensed carbon, and this is going to be another use for our oxygen. Start by refining some oxygen into a small amount of carbon. Then, keeping the oxygen in the refiner, take the carbon you created and add it to the refiner. Now you're going to make a much better ratio of condensed carbon. When that finishes, take the newly created condensed carbon and add it right back in, and the ratio gets even better. Repeat this until you have around 4K, or the max that the refiner will take. Now there's one other thing we're going to want to refine, and that's chlorine. If you have some dihydrogen, you're doing well. I didn't, so I ran outside to grab just a little bit, as we've got what we need to make it already. We only need a very small amount. Once you have dihydrogen, drop it and some oxygen into a refiner and you will make salt. You only need a few units, so once that's done, take the salt and put it with the oxygen to make chlorine. Once that's done, take the chlorine and put it back into the refiner with oxygen to make a lot of chlorine. Again, do this until you have about 4,000 chlorine. It won't take that long, and you'll see why in a moment. Now that we have all this set up, each of the 3 refiners is going to serve a purpose. In the first, place all of your sulfurine and then split the stacks of chlorine and condensed carbon twice and refine it all to make 10 thermic condensates. The double split makes sure that we have enough for the other 2 refiners. You'll notice that when refining these together, instead of taking 250 of the gas that you're putting in the refiner, it only requires 100. Now, rinse and repeat the exact same way with the other 2 refiners, but with the other 2 gases respectively. This will produce enriched carbon and nitrogen salt. So in those refiners, you're putting nitrogen, chlorine, and condensed carbon. Then in the last, radon, chlorine, and condensed carbon. Using this method, you will be able to make a lot more of these 3 items than you would normally, but it'll take a bit of time. When everything is done refining, go and collect. If you want to run another round of refining, keep it up. But for the purposes of this video, we're only doing 1 round of refining. Now we can finally put one of these things together. I find the easiest way to do it is use the build chart that we now have in the game. So find an open slot in your inventory, hit craft, and when you've hovered over the stasis device, make sure to hit view craft steps. On PC, that's the E key. On consoles, it's Y or triangle. Now it's down to clicking on the component that glows, and each step is worked through. It's so much easier than it used to be, and it's a whole lot faster. For this video, I did it one at a time. But if you know how much you want to produce, you can hit each component and build multiples, speeding up the process. I was able to produce 4 from this harvest and discovered that star bulb was my bottleneck. So when I plant again, that's what's going to get at least another dome or perhaps 2. Once you have your haul of extremely valuable cargo, the next step is to sell it. I tend to like 3-star systems that usually buy for a positive percentage. Bounce around until you can find an acceptable amount to sell for, and always make sure you're selling at a trading post, not the station, as you'll get much better rates there, hence the name Trading Post. Be aware of the conflict level of the system you've entered. Since you're carrying a lot of valuable items, you'll be a huge target for pirates. If you don't care about crashing the economy, you can sell to the Galactic Hub at the post, or you can wait for a pilot to land and sell to them, and it'll have no effect on the economy if you do it that way. Alright, well there you go. You did it. It takes a lot of work to set everything up, but once you have it all, then it just passively works and makes money. It's basically a once-a-day harvest, so if you want to make money hand over fist, you'll need a monster base or several of them. The base I built for this video is pretty small and manageable, and it took me hardly any time to construct, so if I needed to build a lot more, it wouldn't be too bad. I was also happy to discover that there's a mold deposit within the base limits, so it also has a mold farm as well. Major win. Alright you guys, hopefully this helps you figure out what to do and gives you some ideas for your own bases. Copy the design or come up with your own, both make me happy. It worked well for me, but I'm already imagining some other ways to improve upon it and make it even better, so maybe we'll tackle that on stream sometime. Speaking of, swing by and talk to me over on Twitch, where I'm live weekdays at twitch.tv/DreadCaptainJames. You can always find me playing No Man's Sky, and I'd love to talk to you about what you've got going on or what kind of crazy ideas you've got. Also, we're really close to partner here on YouTube, so if you could sub to the channel and hit the thumbs up on the video, that would help a ton. Also, I would love to hear your ideas for how you make your stasis devices or farms in the comments below, so fire away please. I'm always looking for new ideas and I always want to learn. Thank you so much for checking this out. I hope to see you on stream, and I'll catch you in the next video.